directory, go and look it up. I do have one final question, but I want to kind of segue for a little bit. Taryn, you were mentioning something that made me think of, just asking this question. What was your first job?
My first job is ironic because you see bowling pins right here in the upper corner of my screen right now. It was working at a bowling center. I started as a babysitter there and then went to the snack bar, hence flipping burgers. That example came into me. So working at a bowling center. It was your comment on
life experience. Wow.
Yep.
Mike, what about you?
I had like 3 jobs at the same time. I was probably 13. One was a place called Mirabelli's Bakery, small organization. Another one was a restaurant I would work at night, which was really interesting. Then the other one was McDonald's, where I'd ride my bike 3 miles to work every Saturday and Sunday and learn. It was really different between the 3 because the 2 were more small mom and pop. They ran things, their way, how they felt like it, depending on their mood for the day. Maybe the steak came out well, maybe it didn't some days. And there was no like consistent process, right? McDonald's, though, really was interesting because they could teach a 13-year-old kid how to like do something as well as somebody that has been there for 5 or 10 years. You just follow the process. Your lists, here's how, you have timers, when the timer goes off, you take off the hamburger buns, fries, you put a timer on there. When it goes off, you take it off. Here's how you greet customers. Here's how you use the register. So McDonald's was, I think, one of the best experiences I had because it really, even at that young age, many years ago, it really taught me about process and systems and consistency and also relationship skills.
Interesting. My first job, relationship skills. I was a security guard on an off license, which if you don't know, I don't know if you have off licenses in the US, but it's like a shop where you go and they've just got all the alcohol in the world and there's maybe a screen and you got to go up to the screen and knock on the guy's screen and say, well, I'd like a case of this beer or a bottle of this whiskey, and you hand over your cash. And so you don't drink it on the premises, you drink it off the premises, and that's called an off license in the UK. But I was doing security for that. And my other job on the side was I was going door to door selling. At the time, this was brand new stuff, but it was aloe vera.
Cool.
Which at the time wasn't a thing. It didn't, people weren't buying it and smearing it all over themselves, but I was doing that. So, yeah.
So you
life skills. This is what you're saying.
That's what I'll have.
Yeah.
He's on a panel during that session, and this one he's at the bar. Security.
That's called a good investment right there.
Well, it was all people skills, right? So there it is. So to wrap this up, we talked about challenges, we talked about the importance, we talked about the benefits. Leadership, the last thing is leadership. Now, a lot of leaders I speak to, a lot of clients that I speak to, they want to do AI. They want, whatever that means. We want to hopefully attach some AI to business problems. Some just don't want to be left out. There's a fear of missing out. But they're focused on AI. How do we get leaders to buy into the concept of data as the foundation for AI? What do you think about that? Mike?
It goes back to what we were discussing earlier is what's their biggest pain point? And then can you use AI to solve a partial amount of it, most of it, or all of it? That's the main thing. And you have to have those direct conversations with those leaders. And just really the question you ask is, what is your biggest opportunity or challenge right now in the business for the next 4 weeks, 8 weeks this year? And you'll get answers. People will tell you lots of things. And we do this with our clients all the time. And we work to solve them, in a client rental group type relationship. But I think those are important things just to ask. They'll tell you. They won't have to guess.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Taryn, what do you think?
Specifically the data piece of this, to me, is interesting because I've talked with and worked with clients that are on the spectrum of maturity when it comes to data literacy. Some are in advance and they really just need to tweak their approach. And, they may need a little bit of literacy for this group, or when it comes to literacy, it's not necessarily foundational or core concepts. It's how do I get my data stewards empowered to do this? So again, more advanced. And then I've had conversations with others that don't understand the impact that they could get from their data. Their data is all over the place. It's a mess. They don't have they don't even have a data strategy, put it that way. So I think it depends on who you're talking with, how the conversation is going to go. If you are fortunate enough to have a conversation with someone who understands fundamentally the power of data and how it can help you drive decision-making and help you accomplish your goals, then being able to tie that to AI is going to be pretty straightforward. But then if you go all the way to the opposite of that spectrum, your conversation is going to be around the value that data can have for you. So being able to express that and show them, whether it's within their organization or doing an analysis and a discovery on the pain points they're having, showing them maybe how much money they're burning at trying to either solve quality issues or having data scientists actually transform data in some way, shape, or form, and being able to leverage AI to speed that up and to clean that up and all of those pieces to show them directly what it looks like for them. Or maybe they won't let you touch their data yet, and you have to give them all of that information based on research and what you've seen with other clients. So it depends for me on who you're speaking with, whether they're bought in on the importance of data or not. And I will tell you, as ones that aren't as mature, are much harder conversation, because you have to really get them to understand why going with your gut isn't the best approach when you're trying to accomplish business goals. And that data is actually able to provide a very clear lens and help you, whatever it might be. And for most cases, it's really better understanding your customers' needs, not always, process oriented internally. So yeah, that where my mind goes is the spectrum of the conversations and how different they are depending on where you're at in terms of literacy and maturity.
Yeah, I'm reminded, I seem to be full of anecdotes today. I don't know why, but I'm reminded a little bit of, have you seen the film Spirited Away, the anime film? It's about a little girl who loses track of her parents and then finds them in a market. And
no, but it's on my list now.
It's a really good film, but one of the themes in that film, and it seems to be a theme across a lot of Japanese media, which I do watch Japanese cartoons, I like anime and things like that. There seems to be a theme, and one of those themes is the power of the name. So in that film, one of the things that struck me, and I'm not spoiling it for you by saying this, but one of the things that struck me was she forgot her own name during the course of this because of factors, which you will find out when you watch the film. And the difference, when she lost her own name, she lost power, she lost agency, she lost everything about who she was, and it really affected her journey. And there's a parallel in the corporate sense that if you lose agency over your data, you lose the identity of your corporation. And when you were both talking, I was thinking, well, there's kind of a carrot and a stick mentality here. If you do great things with your data, you reap the benefits. If you don't do great things with your data, then you effectively depend on your supply chain to manage your data, which means you lose control, which means you lose agency, which means you lose the great thing about your business. And that just made me think of that film. So I thought I would mention that. So that's been a really good discussion on data literacy. Don't forget to have a look at our paper, Data Literacy in the Age of Generative AI. Don't also forget that we are joined today, of course, by Mike Cooke, Brandon Hall Group, and the Brandon Hall Institute has a wealth of information, case studies, and literature on all of the things that we're talking about. And if you're interested in knowing more about AI, your AI journey, or you want some support with anything that we've talked about, then either Taryn or myself do offer consulting services in this space. So reach out and have a chat with us on any of these things. But for now, just remains for me to thank Mike. Thank you very much. And Taryn, also thank you very much for having this conversation today.
Thank you.
We will thank you. And if you're watching this and you like what you see, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're on Spotify, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast channel. But for now, thank you, everybody.